Hey,
All right,
everyone, and welcome back.
Ready for another deep dive?
Always ready.
Today, we're tackling Australian student visas.
Ooh, good one. Always a hot topic.
It is. And particularly, we're looking at the changes coming. For those of you already here in Australia hoping to stick around and keep studying, we've got some fresh info straight from the Department of Home Affairs. And let me tell you, things are getting, well, a little shaken up.
Shaken up is right. Anyone thinking of applying for a student visa from within Australia?
So you're already here.
Exactly, already here. But after January 1st, 2025, that is the key date. Listen up. Big changes ahead.
Mark it on your calendars, folks. January 1st, 2025. Because the big news is the letter of offer, that old friend. Well, it's getting retired.
Gone. Outdated.
And replacing it is the, drum roll please, the Confirmation of Enrolment, or as the cool kids call it, the COE.
Gotta love an acronym.
So if you applied for your visa before January 1st, 2025, you're golden. No worries.
You're in the clear.
But anyone else thinking of applying after that date, you got to get yourself a COE. No COE, no visa. Simple as that.
Straightforward.
All right, so let's break this down. What exactly is a Confirmation of Enrolment?
So imagine this. You've applied to your dream Aussie uni. You're anxiously waiting.
Nail-biting time.
All right. And then, bam, you get that acceptance letter. But the KOE, that's the next level. It's issued by the institution directly to you, the student, and it's basically saying, okay, you're officially in, we've got a spot for you, and you've paid up at least part of it.
So it's a done deal. You're committed, they're committed.
Exactly. Think of it like the acceptance letter is like save the date for a wedding. The COE is like you've RSVP'd, you've picked your meal, you're showing up ready to party.
I like that analogy.
But
it feels like this COE thing is more than just, bureaucratic paperwork. Feels like there's a bigger picture here.
Oh, absolutely. This is about stability. For the institutions, fewer students dropping out means better planning, more predictable funding, and who knows, maybe even more competitive tuition fees down the road.
Interesting. So it benefits everyone, potentially.
Could even benefit you, the student, in the long run. And then there's the fairness aspect. Offshore applicants already have to prove their commitment with the COE. Now it's a level playing field.
Makes sense. So everyone's playing by the same rules. So for our listeners, the takeaway here is clear. After January 1st, 2025, you absolutely need that COE in hand when you're applying for your student visa. No ifs, ands, or buts.
It's non-negotiable.
And here's the real kicker. No COE also means no bridging visa.
Which means potentially having to say, see ya later to Australia while you wait for your visa to get processed.
Oof, not ideal.
Not ideal at all. Really highlights the importance of being organized, getting that COE sorted early. It's your ticket to staying in the game.
Now, are there any exceptions to this rule? Like, are there certain types of students who don't need to worry about the COE?
Good question. There are a few exceptions. So if you're sponsored by, say, the Department of Foreign Affairs or Defense, or maybe you're here on a high school exchange program, you've got different rules.
So those specific programs will have their own guidelines.
Exactly. Don't stress that's you. Just follow the rules of your specific program.
Got it. But for the vast majority of student visa applicants, that COE, it's the golden ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this Department of Home Affairs document, it also mentions something called visa hopping, which sounds kind of exciting, actually, like a fun little game.
Well, it might sound fun, but this crackdown on visa hopping is actually a pretty big deal. It's part of a wider shift in how Australia is approaching immigration.
So it's more than just students, then?
Oh, yeah. This is big picture stuff. It's essentially about tightening the screws on switching visa types while you're already here. The government's trying to close loopholes, those paths people were using to stay in Australia indefinitely by jumping between different types of visas.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, even if your current student visa expires, getting a new one without leaving Australia, it's going to be way harder.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even impossible in some cases.
You got it. The stakes have definitely been raised.
Wow. So having a clear plan, knowing your long-term goals in Australia, that's more important now than ever.
Couldn't agree more. If you're aiming to stay long-term, you need a solid pathway towards permanent residency.
This is a lot to take in. So let's recap the key takeaways for our listeners, just to make sure everyone's on the same page. From January 1st, 2025, the Confirmation of Enrolment. That COE, it's essential.
Essential is an understatement.
Right. No COE, no visa, no staying in Australia. Simple as that. And this applies to anyone applying for a student visa from within Australia.
The rules of the game have changed.
They have. And here's a final thought for everyone listening. This change, it's all about encouraging more commitment from students, right? But does it actually make the system fairer? Or does it just create more obstacles, more hoops to jump through? It's a question worth thinking about, and we'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you're curious about this visa hopping crackdown, well, we're planning a whole deep dive on that in the future, so stay tuned.
We'll see you then.
Until next time.
Bye for now.